Hurricane-force winds in North Carolina this weekend. Let me say that again so it sinks in. Hurricane-force winds in January in the Carolinas. We re-looking at a winter storm so powerful it's going to have the pressure equivalent of a Category 2 hurricane, and it is aimed directly at the East Coast starting Saturday. Millions of people are about to be impacted by what could be a historic blizzard. Which cities are in the crosshairs? Stay with me for 30 seconds and I'll tell you exactly when this monster arrives at your doorstep. I need something from you right now before we go any further. Comment your location below. Don T. Just lurk. Actually type it out. I am preparing a detailed follow-up video tomorrow morning, and I am customizing forecasts based on where you tell me you're located. I go through comments personally. Every single one. The more specific you are, street name, neighborhood, whatever, the better forecast I can give you tomorrow. So do it now while you're rethinking about it. Here's what you stayed for. Charlotte, North Carolina, 6 inches of snow with 30 to 40 mile-per-hour winds. Raleigh, 8 inches, blizzard conditions likely. Richmond, Virginia, 6 inches. Virginia Beach, 11 inches with dangerous coastal flooding. Kill Devil Hills on the Outer Banks, 13 inches with winds that could hit 80 miles per hour over land, over 100 miles per hour just offshore. Cape Cod, Massachusetts, 15 inches minimum, possibly 20 plus, with hurricane-force wind gusts. Boston, 3 to 7 inches depending on exact track. Halifax, Nova Scotia, 18 inches with life-threatening blizzard. But here the part that's going to blow your mind. Tampa, Florida might see snow, actual snow. The Bahamas could see snowflakes. When the last time that happened? 1977, almost 50 years ago. The geographic scale of this is massive. We re-talking impacts from South Carolina all the way to Atlantic Canada. States of emergency are likely from the Carolinas through Virginia. Enhanced risk zones include Columbia, Asheville, Greenville, Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Raleigh, Fayetteville, Richmond, and Virginia Beach. Then as this thing screams up the coast, we re-looking at impacts for Washington, D.C., Delaware, southern New Jersey, potentially significant snow for Atlantic City, some snow for New York City and Long Island, and then the real hammer drops on southeastern New England, Cape Cod, the islands, southeastern Rhode Island, and then continuing up through downeast Maine into Canada. This is a multi-day, multi-state nightmare scenario for travel. Let me break down why this is different from your typical nor'easter. We re-dealing with something called bombogenesis. That is not a made-up word. That is actual meteorology. When a storm's central pressure drops 24 millibars or more in 24 hours, that is the definition of a bomb cyclone. It's called that because the intensification is explosive. Think of it like a hurricane, but in winter. This storm is going to form off the Georgia and South Carolina coast early Saturday morning. By Saturday night, it's going to be rapidly intensifying. By Sunday morning, it's passing just southeast of Cape Cod with a central pressure around 968 millibars. For reference, a Category 2 hurricane typically has a pressure between 970 and 979 millibars. This is going to be stronger than that. What happens when you get bombogenesis? 2 things: massive snow production and extreme winds. That's why we were not just talking about a snowstorm. We were talking about legitimate blizzard conditions in multiple locations. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, which almost never sees this, could experience a full-on blizzard with near zero visibility and hurricane-force winds. Cape Cod is going to get absolutely pounded. These are areas that will see conditions you typically only see in the worst nor'easters. Now here where this gets complicated and why I'm hedging a bit on some of these snowfall totals. We actually dealing with 2 low-pressure systems that are going to be interacting with each other. There is the main bomb cyclone that forms offshore. That the big dog. That what going to produce the heaviest snow along and near the coast. But there also going to be a secondary low, a mesolow, that forms west of South Carolina. These 2 are going to be working together, but here the problem. When you have 2 lows like this, they can create what called a dry slot. Basically, they can rob moisture from the areas in between them. What does that mean for you? If you are in Columbia, Charlotte, Raleigh, or Richmond, there's a possibility that while it is snowing heavy on the coast and snowing in the mountains, you get caught in this dry slot and see lower totals than currently forecast. On the flip side, areas on the edges, especially eastern North Carolina, could overperform and see significantly higher totals. This is something we'll watch closely as new model data comes in tonight and tomorrow morning. Let's talk model guidance because this is important for understanding confidence levels. The European model, which is generally considered the gold standard for medium-range forecasting, is locked in on this bomb cyclone. The American GFS model agrees. When you have agreement between these two major global models on timing, intensity, and general track, confidence goes way up. What they were still working out is the fine details. Exact snowfall amounts in those transition zones, the precise position of that dry slot I mentioned, whether the track shifts 20 or 30 miles east or west, which makes a huge difference for cities like Boston and New York. Those details will come into focus over the next 12 to 24 hours. Just like I promised 5 minutes ago, here's your city-by-city breakdown. I'm going to mix up my delivery here so this doesn't sound like I am just reading a list because every city has its own story with this storm. Let's start in South Carolina. Columbia, snow moves in Friday night light at first. Saturday morning around 10 a.m., this picks up significantly. Heavy snow Saturday afternoon. You are looking at 4 inches as the current forecast. Here as your situation. You are right in that zone where the dry slot could cut you down to 2 or 3 inches or miss you entirely and push you to 6 or 7. The winds are what concern me for you. 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts Saturday afternoon and evening. Even if snow totals underwhelm, the combination of whatever snow falls plus those winds is going to make travel extremely dangerous. Charleston, you are mostly going to see rain with this, but Don T, let your guard down. There could be a period Saturday morning where temperatures drop enough for a brief mix or even some wet snow. Not a snow event for you, but the wind is going to be a problem. Coastal flooding is a real concern. Moving up to Charlotte. This hits you Saturday morning and it hits hard. Snow develops, becomes heavy by Saturday afternoon. 6 inches is the baseline. Peak snowfall rates during the afternoon could be 1 to 2 inches per hour. That's heavy snow. Visibility is going to drop to near zero at times. Winds 30 to 40 miles per hour, creating drifting. Your roads are not equipped for this. I know Charlotte can handle a little snow, but this is beyond that. Saturday afternoon into evening, stay off the roads completely. Winston-Salem and Greensboro, you're in a similar boat to Charlotte. 6 to 8 inches with strong winds. This is a prolonged event for you. We re-talking 6 to 10 hours of heavy snow. Some modeling suggests you could be in a sweet spot where you avoid the worst of that dry slot and actually see totals push toward the higher end. 8 to 10 inches is not out of the question. Asheville and the higher elevations of western North Carolina, you are getting contributions from both systems. That meso to your west is going to enhance snowfall in the mountains. 8 to 13 inches in the highest peaks. Snow starts Friday evening for you, continues through Saturday. Mountain passes are going to be treacherous. If you don't absolutely have to travel Saturday, Don T. Now let's talk about Raleigh because this is where the forecast gets interesting. Current guidance shows 8 inches. I am going to be honest with you. I have lower confidence in that number compared to some other cities. Why? You are in the bullseye for that potential dry slot. If these two low-pressure systems create that dry slot right over you, totals could drop to 4 to 6 inches. If they don't, if you stay in the heavy snow, 8 to 10 inches is absolutely possible. What I'm very confident about is the wind. 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts. Periods of whiteout conditions. Blizzard criteria could be met even with lower snow totals because of how strong the winds are going to be. This is Saturday afternoon into Saturday night for you. Durham and Chapel Hill, exact same situation as Raleigh. You are close enough that you're going to see the same conditions. Plan for the mid-range, but be prepared for either higher or lower. Greensboro area, we already covered you, but let me add this. Your timing is going to be a bit earlier than Raleigh. Snow could start as early as mid-morning Saturday and continue through Saturday night. Greenville, North Carolina, not Greenville, South Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina. You closer to the coast, and that's going to make a difference. 10 inches is possible for you. This could be one of the heavier snow events you've seen in years. Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning, winds are going to be howling 30 to 50 mile per hour gusts. Power outages are a real possibility. Fayetteville, you are looking at 8 to 10 inches, same window. Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning, blizzard conditions possible. Jacksonville, Goldsboro, New Bern, you are all in that eastern North Carolina zone where I think we could see some surprises. This is where the storm is going to be intensifying rapidly just offshore. Jacksonville, 10 to 12 inches is not out of the question. Goldsboro, similar. New Bern, you could be looking at double-digit totals as well. Your timing is Saturday evening into Sunday morning. This is going to be intense. Now the Outer Banks. This is where this gets absolutely insane. Kill Devil Hills, Nags Head, Hatteras, the entire Barrier Island chain. 13 inches of snow, but honestly, that might be conservative. What makes this extreme is not just the snow, it's the wind. 50 to 70 mile per hour gusts over land. Over the water just offshore, winds could exceed 100 miles per hour. That S Category 2 to Category 3 hurricane strength winds. In January, with heavy snow, this is a blizzard of historic proportions for this area. Coastal flooding is going to be severe. Beach erosion will be significant. This happens Saturday evening into Sunday morning. Near zero visibility, drifting snow making any accumulation number kind of meaningless because you are going to have drifts several feet high. If you are on the Outer Banks, Saturday night you need to be inside, period. Elizabeth City and the inland coastal areas, 10 to 12 inches with strong winds. Blizzard conditions likely Saturday night into Sunday. Let's jump up to Virginia. Richmond, snow develops Saturday afternoon. Heaviest Saturday evening into Saturday night. 6 inches is the call. Not the worst case scenario for you, but still significant. Your roads are going to be a mess Saturday night. Winds 30 to 40 miles per hour. Plan to stay home Saturday night. Virginia Beach and Norfolk, you are coastal, so you are going to see more. 11 inches is the current forecast for Virginia Beach. This is Saturday night into Sunday morning. Coastal flooding is a major concern for you. Winds could gust 40 to 50 miles per hour. This is a serious event for Hampton Roads. Moving up to the Delmarva Peninsula. Salisbury, you are in an interesting spot. 7 to 10 inches possible. Higher totals as you get closer to Ocean City. Saturday night into Sunday, the gradient is going to be sharp. Western Delmarva might see less. Eastern Shore could see significantly more. Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, here's your situation. You are on the northern edge. Washington, D.C., 1 to 3 inches. Baltimore, 2 to 4 inches. This is Saturday night mainly. Not a major snow event for the immediate metro areas. Enough to make roads slick, but not crippling. Your bigger concern is what comes after, which I'll get to. Hagerstown, Frederick, the I-70 corridor, 1 to 3 inches. Same deal. Northern fringe of the system. Philadelphia, 2 to 4 inches Saturday night into Sunday morning. Center City probably on the lower end of that. Suburbs could push toward the higher end. Not a huge event, but enough to create issues. But then we get to southern New Jersey, and this is where things change fast. Atlantic City, you could see up to 8 inches. I think 4 to 6 is more likely, but the potential is there for higher amounts. Saturday night into Sunday, you are close enough to where this is intensifying that you could get caught in some heavier bands. New York City, the 5 boroughs are looking at around 4 inches. Maybe a bit less in Manhattan, maybe a bit more in Queens, and especially out on Long Island. This is Sunday for you. Not a paralyzing event for the city, but it's going to create travel problems. Long Island, the further east you go, the more snow you see. Western Nassau County, 4 to 6 inches. Eastern Suffolk County out toward the Hamptons and Montauk, 6 to 8 inches possible. Providence, Rhode Island, 4 to 6 inches with the highest totals in the southeastern part of the state. Your window is Sunday. Not the worst case for Providence proper, but southeastern Rhode Island near the water could push towards 7 inches or more. And then we get to Cape Cod, and this is where this storm reaches its peak intensity. 15 inches is the low-end forecast. We could be looking at 18 to 24 inches in some spots. But forget the snow totals for a second. Let's talk about the wind. 60 to 70 mile per hour gusts, possibly higher. These are hurricane-force winds. Combined with heavy snow, we are talking about near-zero visibility, massive drifting. Any accumulation number becomes almost irrelevant because drifts could be 4, 5, 6 feet high in spots. Coastal flooding is going to be severe. Beach erosion significant. This is Sunday into Sunday night for you. This is a stay-inside event. Don't be a hero. Don't go out to check on things. This is dangerous. Boston, here's where your forecast gets tricky. 7 inches is on the high end of the range. I think you are more likely looking at 3 to 5 inches in the city proper, possibly pushing towards 7 in the southern and eastern suburbs. There's going to be a very sharp cutoff. If the storm tracks 30 miles further west than currently forecast, you get hammered. If it tracks 30 miles further east, you might only see a few inches. Right now, the middle ground says 3 to 5 for Boston. This is Sunday, mainly morning into afternoon. Portland, Maine, 4 to 6 inches. Sunday into Sunday night, decent snow, but not catastrophic. Bangor and central Maine, 2 to 4 inches. As you get toward down east Maine and the coast, 3 to 6 inches, winds 30 to 50 mile per hour, Sunday into Monday, and then we cross into Canada. Halifax, you are going to get buried. 18 inches, possibly more. Hurricane-force wind gusts. This is a major, potentially historic blizzard for you. Monday into Monday night, travel will be impossible. This is a hunker-down situation. Here's what makes the timing so critical and why this is more than just a one-day event. For the Carolinas and Virginia, Saturday is the main event. For the Mid-Atlantic, it's Saturday night into Sunday. For New England and Canada, it's Sunday into Monday. But the impacts don't end when the snow stops. What comes after is equally dangerous and in some ways more concerning. The cold. We were not talking about typical winter cold. We were talking about extreme, life-threatening cold. And I need to show you something that's going to sound crazy, but it is real. After this storm passes and all that Arctic air floods south, it's going to be so cold that we are going to see Gulf effect snow. Just like the Great Lakes create lake effect snow, the Gulf of Mexico is going to create its own snow showers Sunday into Monday. Tampa could see a coating of snow. Read that again. Tampa, snow. Orlando, Jacksonville, Daytona Beach, snow flurries are possible, and some models are even hinting at the possibility of snowflakes in the Bahamas. If that verifies, it would be the first time since January 1977. The winter of '77 was brutal. That was the last time the Bahamas saw snow. Look at the temperature forecast for Sunday morning across Florida. Tallahassee, 23 degrees, Stark, 21, Tampa, 35. But wind chills are going to be in the low to mid-20s. The Nature Coast and interior areas around Tampa and Orlando could see a hard freeze Saturday night into Sunday morning. The National Weather Service in Tampa is warning this is extremely hazardous for marine interests and dangerous for vulnerable populations. Northern Florida, your wind chills Sunday morning could be in the single digits. When's the last time you saw single-digit wind chills in Florida? It's been a very long time. But let's zoom out because Florida is just one piece of the extreme cold puzzle. Dallas, 23 degrees Sunday morning. Oklahoma City, 20 degrees. Indianapolis, 2 degrees. 2 degrees in Indianapolis. Memphis, 12 degrees. Nashville, 12 degrees. And for those in the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley, we are talking about sub-zero actual temperatures. Negative numbers in upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Toronto, Montreal, Quebec, all well below zero. And I need to address something serious here. The death toll from our last winter storm and cold outbreak has now surpassed 100 people. This is now the deadliest winter weather event since the Texas power crisis. The toll continues to rise. There are still people without power in some areas. We have people on the ground, storm chasers and volunteers helping with recovery efforts. Some areas look like the aftermath of a hurricane. The good news is power restoration is ongoing and most areas should be back online soon. The bad news is this cold is relentless. It keeps coming. So let's talk about what you need to do to prepare because this is a multi-layered threat. If you are in the snow zone from South Carolina to Virginia, your deadline is Friday night. Everything needs to be done by Friday night. Groceries, gas, generator checks, batteries, flashlights. If you're in an area that doesn't normally see hard freezes, let your faucets drip starting Friday night. Pipes that aren't insulated can freeze and burst. This is especially critical for the Carolinas. If you're in the Mid-Atlantic or Northeast, Saturday is your deadline. Get everything done Saturday morning. Don't wait. For the extreme cold, everyone from Texas to Maine needs to be ready by Saturday night. Make sure your heating system is working. Have backup heat sources if possible. Warm clothes, blankets, everything you need to stay warm if power goes out. If you have to go outside Sunday or Monday in the Midwest or Northeast, exposed skin can freeze in 15 to 30 minutes. That's actual frostbite timing. Cover all exposed skin, wear layers, limit your time outside, vehicle preparation. Keep at least half a tank of gas at all times. If you get stranded, you need to be able to run your heat, have blankets, water, snacks in your car, community care. Check on elderly neighbors, anyone vulnerable to cold, anyone who might not have adequate heating. This is the time to look out for each other. For those in the South, especially if you're not used to extreme cold, understand this is serious. This isn't to just throw on a jacket cold. This is dangerous cold. Limit your outdoor exposure. And I need to mention something about what might come next. It's too early for specifics, but there are signals in the extended models of another potential system developing middle of next week. I am not committing to anything yet because it is too far out, but if you re in the snow zone from this weekend's storm, be aware this might not be over. The cold pattern is locked in. We not seeing warmth returning to the East Coast anytime soon. The pattern will eventually break, but not in the next 10 days. Let me give you the recap because there's a lot of information here. Bomb cyclone forms Saturday off the southeast coast. Rapid intensification Saturday night. Major snow Carolinas to Cape Cod. Blizzard conditions Outer Banks and Cape Cod with hurricane force winds. Then extreme cold, dangerous cold, life-threatening cold for a huge portion of the country. Wind chills that can cause frostbite in minutes. And then potentially another system next week. Tomorrow's update is critical. I am going live by 8 a.m. Eastern. Maybe earlier if we see major changes overnight. I'll have fresh model data, refined snow totals, temperature updates, and more information on that next potential system. The track of this storm could shift. A 50-mile shift makes a massive difference in snowfall totals for cities along the edge. That's what we'll be refining. I want to be completely transparent with you. There's uncertainty in parts of this forecast. That dry slot I mentioned for Raleigh and Charlotte, that's still uncertain. The exact snowfall gradient from New York to Boston, still being refined. Where the sharpest cutoff sets up in New England, we'll know better tomorrow. What I am confident about is the overall pattern. A major coastal storm is coming. Heavy snow is coming for multiple cities. Extreme cold is coming behind it. The details are what we are fine-tuning. Your action timeline. If you are in the first snow areas, everything done by Tuesday night. If you are preparing for extreme cold, Wednesday is your deadline. Drop your city in the comments. Tell me where you are. I am using your comments to customize tomorrow's forecast. The more people who comment, the more locations I can specifically address. This is not something to take lightly. The combination of heavy snow in areas not equipped for it, blizzard conditions in coastal areas, and then the extreme cold that follows. This is a dangerous multi-day situation. I am not trying to scare you. I am trying to inform you so you can prepare. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. Tomorrow's update could have significant changes based on overnight model runs. You need to see that information. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking this seriously. Check on your neighbors. Stay safe. And I'll see you tomorrow morning with the absolute